Good morning. I'm Melissa Armstrong, and I will be the moderator for this morning's press conference. Thank you for joining us as we announce the final expansion of our Curbside Composting Collection Program. First, I'd like to introduce our speaker, Austin Resource Recovery Director Ken Snipes, who will provide us with more information about the expansion, as well as what it means for ARR and its customers. Following Director Snipes' remarks, we'll be opening it up to questions from local news outlets, which will be facilitated by our pool reporter, Jack Flagler, with Community Impact Newspaper. Ken?
Curbside Composting Program. 55,000 customers will receive a postcard this week, inviting them to a virtual town hall on January 28th, informing them of the start of their new service beginning in February. Currently, about 152,000 homes receive the Curbside Composting Collection Service. This final expansion will provide the service to all remaining Austin Resource Recovery customers after a 4-year phased approach that began in 2017. Austin Resource Recovery is dedicated to protecting the environment, providing excellent customer service, and promoting programs and services that will help Austin reach zero waste by the year 2040. Getting there will mean all Austinites will need to reduce, reuse, recycle, and compost as much as possible to make sure we are leaving behind a city and a planet the next generation will be proud to inherit. A recent study shows that nearly half of the materials in Austin's landfills can be composted. Combustible material cannot break down in a landfill as it would in nature or in a compost pile. Instead, it decomposes without oxygen, releasing harmful methane into the atmosphere. By collecting food scraps, food soil paper, and yard trimmings at the curb, we will keep valuable materials out of our landfills, prolonging the life of the landfills, improving Austin's air quality, and reducing harmful greenhouse gases. We thank you for being here today to help us spread the word about this important program and this giant step forward in Austin's future. Austin Resource Recovery customers can visit austinrecycles.com to learn more about the Curbside Composting Program and how to use their green card.
Thank you, Ken. Now we will throw it over to our pool reporter, who will begin the question and answer portion of our press conference.
Thank you, Alyssa. Thank you, Ken. Our first question comes from us here at Community Impact Newspaper. So this program was rolled out over quite a long period, over the course of 7 years. How did you decide where and when you would expand this in an equitable way around the city, now that you're reaching this final phase of reaching every Austin Resource Recovery customer?
Well, one of the things we did was we evaluated the neighborhoods and we looked at things like set out rates and participation rates to decide what were the best opportunities to see how the program will be received in the communities. And we ended up with we used some data, and one of those data metrics that we looked at was the set out rates. And we knew that we had an overall set out rate of approximately 30%. And that was one of the drivers that we used to determine where we would test the program.
Our next question comes from Audrey McGlinchey at KUT News. She asks, can you clarify whether this impacts just people who live in single-family homes? She says, if I'm not mistaken, multifamily buildings are serviced by private collectors and will not be included in this program.
That is correct. The target will be folks in single-family homes as part of this rollout, although we do have some service for folks in multifamily, but the target of this program is single-family homes.
Our next question, what effects, if any, has the pandemic had on composting in Austin?
Well, the program rollout was impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. We would have rolled this program out about a year ago, but in an effort to protect both our staff and the people that we serve, we decided to delay the rollout until this year. So starting in February, the program will kick off in earnest.
Another one from us here at Community Impact. How is this program funded, and how much does it cost the city now that it is expanded fully?
The program is funded through an increase in the base rate. The original rate was an increase of $1 that was supported by City Council. And as part of this final rollout, there will also be an increase of about $2.60 to support the cost of the program.
Second question from KUT News. What effects have the city's composting program thus far had on diverting trash from landfills? Is there any way that you can quantify the effects?
Sure. So far we know we have removed about 91,000 tons from the system, and that has allowed us to divert those materials to the composting program and away from the landfill. And that's a pretty significant number. So we're pretty happy with that.
And our final question here, what are some of the areas this expansion will include? Could you name some of the neighborhoods in Austin?
Not off the top of my head, I don't have the exact neighborhoods.
Is there just sort of a general sense you can give of these 50, I believe it was 55,000 new households, kind of how you're expanding to reach these new places?
Right. So as I mentioned at the onset, we're going to reach out with postcards to each of the affected customers, and we'll be letting them know when their collection day will happen. Depending on where they live, it's either going to be on starting February 8th or February 16th.
Perfect. Ken, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jack, for facilitating that. Now I will open it up to Ken if he has any closing remarks he'd like to make.
Well, I think the main thing I like to get across is that composting is very important, and explain to people what it is. It's a natural process that breaks down compostable materials like food scraps and yard trimmings, and it turns it into a dark, earthy soil-like material or a soil amendment. Compost helps with water retention. It helps to fertilize crops and lawns and gardens, and it avoids the use of chemical fertilizers. So this is a really, really good program, and it allows us to provide opportunities to our customers and to our citizens to help play a role in saving the planet and helping our overall goals of reaching our goal of zero waste by 2040.
Thank you so much for everyone for joining us today, and that is the end of our press conference. Have a good day.